Hi everyone. For this week's grammar tip, we're going to look at modal verbs, which are in many cases relatively simple, but in at least one case cause IELTS essay writers quite a few problems. So a modal verb is a verb which expresses ability, possibility, permission, or obligation. And so verbs like can and may and must are all examples of modal verbs. I can run very fast. I may be able to do something. I must do something. These are all examples of modal verbs. The one that causes the most difficulty in essay writing seems to be would. We see a lot of mistakes in essay writing using the modal verb would. So would is simply the past tense of will. I will eat cake. When I was young, I would eat a lot of cake. So simply the past tense. But some of the usages of would are the cause for confusion in writing. And that's because we sometimes use the past tense in English in order to express ourselves more formally or more politely. So at a restaurant, you are ordering something and you might say, I'll have the chicken. But if it's a formal restaurant or you're trying to impress whoever you're having dinner with, you might say, I would like to have the chicken, please. And so it sounds more formal, it sounds more polite. And it's because of that usage that people, when they're writing IELTS essays, where you need to be formal, and in task 1 essays you sometimes need to write in a polite tone, are getting confused. Because while would can be used to increase formality and politeness, we also use would as a conditional. And this is where the problem lies. So we use would as a conditional verb when we are talking about a theory or a hypothesis, something which is possible but not actually real. And so, for example, it would be very difficult if I was to do that. So it's a theory, a hypothesis, something that hasn't actually happened. And what that means is that you can't use would when you are expressing a view and trying to make an opinion clear. So we sometimes see in IELTS essays, I would argue that, da 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 da. And so that's an attempt to express in formal language, a thesis statement. The problem with it is that by introducing would, from the reader's point of view, the conditional reading of would is potentially going to apply, which makes it sound as though it's not a strongly held view, because you could say, I would argue that all cars should be banned. You could also say, however, I would argue that all cars should be banned, but I know that that wouldn't make any sense. So there's a conditional element to the verb would. The best way to avoid this particular problem is in your opinion statements and your arguments, stick with the verb will. In this essay, I will argue. Nice, clear, strong statement. Would has some appropriate uses, but when you are trying to make a clear and unambiguous statement of view, it's a verb that is best avoided. Use the present tense, use will, and make sure that there is no doubt in the examiner's mind of the clarity of your opinion. Okay, so that's all for this week. Enjoy the rest of the exercises.